What's up, guys? I'm Olivia.
And I'm Kyle.
And we're Drivin and Vibin.
Today we are inside the Airstream, almost complete with the renovation, but we wanted to talk about 5 of the biggest challenges we faced during this process, so stay tuned.
Welcome back to our channel, everyone. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. And yeah, we had kind of just been talking about the things that almost got the best of us along the way with this renovation.
Yeah, a lot of you have asked the questions too of like, was this a big project for us? What were the things that we didn't even foresee coming along?
Yeah, and was it too big of a project for us?
So we thought we would give you 5 of the reasons why it was super challenging. But then at the end, we'll also talk about 3 things that really pulled us through. So you ready to jump in?
Yeah.
All right, number 1, you give it to us.
So the first one that comes to mind to me today, especially, is just the length of time that it has taken to complete this project. And as you guys know, our timeline kept getting longer and longer and longer, and sometimes it just felt like it would never get done.
And that's from 3 years of traveling. Then we enter into this renovation phase. So that was really a hard transition to make. The first few months wasn't that bad, but once we were stationary for so long, it really started taking a beating. On me, I know. It seems like on you as well.
Definitely. It's hard to have that freedom to get up and go whenever you want to and live that lifestyle where if you don't like the weather, you just leave, and we feel totally in our element when we're on the road. And it was hard to get back into doing the same things every day all the time, and these old routines that we kind of felt like we had moved past, I guess.
Yeah, and we were, for better and worse, parked in Olivia's sister's backyard. The better part of that is that we got some awesome time with family, and we haven't been able to connect with family like that maybe ever in our life as grown-ups.
And
you know,
it was so convenient. We got to work on the Argosy right there. We got it was way more affordable than paying to stay at an RV park the whole time. But that does mean you are infringing on their space.
Most
First of all, we've taken over their whole backyard for almost 1.5 years now, and though they've said nothing about it, I'm sure they'll be happy when we get out of their hair.
And just for our own sanity, it's nice to feel as though we have the freedom to move.
Yeah, for sure. And not feel dependent on anyone else.
And that is the last note about the time thing, is that, the completion of this renovation is our doorway back into freedom. So knowing that both made us able to see the light at the end of the tunnel, but also made us feel totally chained to the project, I feel like.
Yeah, for sure.
So that kind of leads into number 2 on the list, and that is the total extent of this project was something that was not foreseen to us when we first started.
Yeah, we didn't anticipate going this far into a rebuild. We didn't anticipate taking the shell off the frame, doing all that reinforcement to the frame. So that project in itself was months long process of separating the shell from the frame and getting all the work done that needed to be done, and then getting them reattached. So for a long while, it felt like we couldn't make any real progress on it because it wasn't even in one piece.
Yeah, I tell everyone, one of the most rewarding moments of the last 1.5 years has been setting this Airstream shell back on the frame with the subfloor on it, and at least seeing the 2 pieces connected again. But also, we call this a renovation. It really is like a total rebuild.
Yeah, for sure. And I don't think we knew for sure if we were going to take all these inner panels off and redo the insulation and wiring yet, because the previous owner had already got the wiring checked out and it seemed to be fine. The insulation looked good from what we saw behind one panel that was already removed, so it could have stayed, but it wasn't really what we wanted and up to our standards, and we wanted to run the wiring the way we wanted, so we could put in all this inset lighting, have outlets where we wanted them. We were going to have this new great battery bank and solar, so we just really wanted to customize our electrical system, and if we were going to do it, that was the time to do it.
And once we realized everything was going to be detached, it was like, forget about it, we'll do it all. And that's just the way it's going to be.
So taking these inner panels out, doing all the innards of the walls and putting them back on, that was a very time-consuming part too. Had we just gotten right into building out this thing, I think we could have done it in 6 months.
Yeah, we would have run into a whole host of other problems and issues, and it definitely wouldn't be up to all the specs we wanted, but we would have been on the road. But as you can see behind us, I mean, this is beautiful kitchen. I mean, and we have the 500 amp hours of batteries, solar, and all of that is wired ideally for the system we have. So the project has been extensive, but it's all for, you know, our best interest and our future.
Yes. And number 3 was lacking the skills we needed to do a lot of these projects. Obviously, we learned along the way, and we're coming out of this with so much more knowledge than we had before, but it was really daunting to start some of these projects and terrifying to start them because you don't want to mess it up.
And then you really just got to throw that mindset out the window about not messing it up, because we did learn that anything can be fixed, anything can be remade.
Yeah.
But YouTube has been good. But YouTube, as far as learning and you know, gaining that knowledge we didn't have. But one of the problems we found in research overall was that no 2 Airstream renovators did anything the same way.
No.
Everyone knew how to do it the right way, and we just had to try to figure out through the research what the best way was for us.
But air forums and different resources like that were invaluable. The advice from the Vibe Tribe was super, super helpful. So being able to kind of just absorb all of that knowledge and then be able to say, okay, here are options, here's what we can afford, here's what we have the time frame for, and this is the quality we want, and trying to find that middle ground.
Yeah.
So not everything in here is probably done to the specs of all you carpenters and electricians out there, but to us, like, we are very proud of what we've accomplished, and I think we could do it even better if we ever did it again.
And, you know, although it might not be up to the standards, one of our first concerns was always the safety and making sure we did everything in a way that wouldn't cause harm down the road.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
Next up on the list, I think number 4 now, was one of the biggest challenges was really learning how to work together on a project so big. We are great at coming up with a shared vision and working towards those goals. We've done it multiple times and have always been more successful than we even had planned to be. But getting in there and working on a project together, we did have some challenges.
Yeah, we complete projects in completely different ways. Our minds work completely differently. So what we really found was how to not work together and to work on separate projects. And that way we're not micromanaging each other or questioning each other, because when you're learning to do it for the first time, there's so many doubts and questions about everything, and so it's stressful, and we can end up taking that out on one another and being grouchy by the end of the day. It was really fun working with the Mortons because we found that me and Caitlin worked very similarly, and Kyle and Tom worked very similarly, so we could have help on a project, but kind of were moving at the same speed and kind of had the same thoughts about how the project was going.
And there's less fear, I feel like, involved whenever you have friends or other people, you know?
Yeah.
Whenever it's just us, we just question, and we're like, it's so hard to make that first move because we don't really want to mess up and we don't know.
Yeah, definitely their experience building barns and doing construction type projects in the past helped give us the confidence we needed to jump in and tackle a lot of things too.
And the 5th and last challenge that we faced for truly the last year and a half has been our bodies have taken a beating, and it has been exhausting.
Yeah, I would have liked to think that we would have just gotten stronger and it would have been no big deal after a certain amount of time, but you're never doing the same type of project. If we were just doing the same repetitive thing over and over, that might have been the case, but we were getting in new weird positions all the time, working different muscles all the time. So by the end of the day, we would all just be so exhausted and ready to collapse.
And you know, we've had waves of how hard we've worked along the way, sometimes harder than others. But there hasn't been a year and a half where I've worked this hard in my life, I don't think. I mean, as far as physically hard, it's just been new positions, like you said, new muscles and different muscles every day.
And definitely for me, this last stretch of the project, thankfully there's not too many really physically demanding projects, but since being pregnant, it has taken a toll on me and what I am able to do now. It's a lot harder to get up and down off of the floor and move the way I used to. I can't put in as many hours as I used to, so that fatigue and exhaustion can really hit me a lot sooner. So I have to take a lot more breaks, and it takes a lot longer to finish my projects, which is very frustrating to me.
Hey, but we are almost at the end, and like you said, the projects are really starting to just be cosmetic, and that's fun, you know.
Yes, definitely, especially on the interior. I feel like we're getting to a place that once we put the floor down, I just get to decorate. It's all cosmetic fun stuff after this. Kyle's still gonna have some big projects on the outside, getting the exterior all beautiful.
That's all right. It'll be easy enough, you know.
Yeah, but there's some very rewarding projects here now that it's in the final month of renovations.
So those really were like the 5 biggest challenges that we associated with this whole project. But we were able to make it through. And it definitely wasn't by our own will alone. We had so much help that we definitely need to acknowledge.
Yes, so first of all, the Vibe Tribe, your support, your encouragement, your knowledge, being there for us through this whole project, believing in us that we could do this. Sometimes we needed that little extra pep talk to get through this. Also, our friends, our family that have helped out on this project. And last but not least, all of the amazing brands and companies that have helped us out and gotten on board with this project, that saw our vision and wanted to be a part of it.
And truly, all those pieces have been able to give us the ability, you know, the motivation, make us show up every day and get to work here, because this is an awesome thing that's coming together, especially now that we're on the last leg of it. So
yes, for sure. And I can't wait to show all of you who come for the reveal and online who watch the virtual reveal. It isn't perfect, but neither are we, and I think it is a very good representation of us and who we are in this new chapter in our lives. So
thank you guys for watching today. If you got any questions about what we talked about at the challenges or any other renovation questions, drop them below.
Thanks for joining us, and we'll see y'all next time. Bye,
Later
guys.
on.